Hey everybody, welcome back. I am here. I have been missing again because I hurt my back. I don't know what's going on. It's like I'm on this roll of hurting myself lately. Like the last few months have been all these weird things happening to me. I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.9% sure I know how this happened, why it happened. And so I was just moving this piece of paper. This is sort of what I was going for. Not what I got, but that's what I was going for. Yeah, so I'll explain that in a minute. So after the previous video ended, I started making these. I'm going to zoom you in because picking it up does not work because then I lose the light. So I'm going to try and... So there's this bouillon flower, and I did that one. It's a bouillon rose. I did that one. I think that was my first, that was my first one. And I did, where is it, Martha? There it is. And I did that one. Now, are they finished yet? I don't know. I don't think so. This was the last one I did. Where is it, Martha? There it is. That was the last one I did. I like that one a lot. I think I did a really good job, even if I say so myself. Okay, zooming you back out. Whee! There you go. So, I did those, but I haven't been able to work on it all week because I couldn't sit for very long. I was laying down a lot, especially the last 2 days. And yeah, I can't win. It's been a rough 2-ish weeks. Well, week. It's been a rough week. Let's just put it that way. All right. So then I started wanting to add more to the actual center flower. So I pulled out this doily. Where is it? It was this one here. White on white. It was this one here. And it had this edging around it. And I cut that off. And I used part of that for the edging. I could have made it, more full. And I tried that by just placing it around, not sewing it down. I didn't like it as much. I wanted it to be more subtle. If it had been a finer piece of lace, I think I would have bulked it up underneath. Maybe I'm making a mistake by not doing that. I don't know. We'll see. And I hid the overlap, like the start and end of it, under this big leaf. And I did end up making the leaves out of fabric, not, I don't remember where I left off the last video because, oh my goodness. I'm going to raise you just a bit with the stand so I'm not blinding you with my hand movements. And try not to shake. Okay. Sure. I thought I would come in and do some of this on camera. I don't know if you can hear that noise in the background. Let me open my slider for a moment and maybe you can hear it. You hear that awful noise? Between the golf course crew and the guys working on the golf course, they're putting in a pond and they're putting in new drainage. First, they cut down all these trees. So much stupidity for a golf course. Anyway, yeah, if it's not one thing, it's another going on around here. Yesterday morning, there were landscapers working on the yard next door and blowing they had leaf blowers, and they were on the roof, and they were blowing out the gutters. I know some countries don't use gutters on their roofs, but typically here in the States, now there are some states that don't use them. A lot of houses in the Northeast, because of the heavy snowfall, they don't use gutters because the big snowfalls will just tear them all down. Tahoe, they don't have gutters in Tahoe, I don't think either, because, oh my gosh, the snow they had last year. It was over 100 feet of snow. It was insane. Insane. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't do you any good to have gutters if you're going to have huge snowfalls. So, but we have more rain than snow typically, so we have gutters. It helps redirect the water off the roofs, and then it drains to the ground. Anyhow, so either the golf course landscaping crew has been out there mowing or spreading or mowing some more every freaking day. Yes, I said it. And then the crew that is putting in the pond, that tore down all the trees, that I am not keeping my trains of thought very straight. My trains keep leaving the track, so bear with me. I'm sorry. I will apologize for that. That crew has been hauling, like first they hauled in trucks and trucks of dirt, then they were hauling some dirt out, then they hauled in all these big drainage pipes, plastic ones, and then they were dragging the excess of those out. I don't know when they're going to be finished. It's supposed to be sometime this month. This month is almost half over. And then the lady next door, like I said, she had guys on her roof, and they were using leaf blowers to blow the gutters out and the stuff out of the gutters and all that. And then Tony came in and told me he thought they were putting on a new roof. I thought, oh my gosh, that's like probably 2 or 3 days worth of ripping roof off, putting roof on, hammering. Well, come to find out, he was mistaken. Thank goodness. That house does need a new roof. But, yeah, it's not going to be right now. So, if they're going to do it, I hope they do it in September. Because we're not supposed to be here in September. Maybe. We'll see. It depends on how things keep going. So, yeah. And then last week, I went to an ENT, and I went to a foot doctor. ENT was Wednesday. Foot doctor, foot and ankle specialist was Thursday, late afternoon. I didn't have great news from either one. Yeah, I have some hearing loss, not bad enough for hearing aids at the moment. Of course, they tell you there's nothing that you can do for the tinnitus, and that hearing aids could possibly help that as well. To use sound. I don't need more sound in my life. There's plenty of it right outside all the time. But anyway, a sound therapy. Yeah. I hate a fan or a sound machine going at night. Absolutely hate it. I find it way harder to sleep. So, yeah. So the foot doctor tells me that I have a stress fracture in my foot. The stress fracture, I believe, he can't tell how old it is. But I've had pain on that side of my foot for about 5 years now. And so he told me the best thing for it at the moment is to go buy this brand of sneakers called Hoka, and that I need rocker bottom sneakers. Well, in the last 9 months, maybe, I've been wearing very, very flat shoes called barefoot shoes, Zero Rise barefoot shoes. That's not the name of them. The ones I got are Witten, I think it's Whitin, and they were only $40 on Amazon. There's no arch support. There's no big heel on it. There's no padding in it. You can get inserts that have that stuff in it if you want it. But most sneakers, I've had problems with my feet since 1988 actually. So basically, I've lived in sneakers most of my adult life. So most sneakers will have a tilt that the heel is higher, so you're putting more pressure on the ball of your foot. Well, my stress fracture is right here on my toe, on the 4th metatarsal. And then I also have 0 spaces between the joints in my 2nd and 3rd metatarsal because of arthritis. Probably because of the way I've been walking for the last 5 years. But I'm also very prone to arthritis. I have it in many other parts of my body, and that started when I was about 30. So, yeah. Anyway, so he told me to go get these shoes. Well, we went the next day because my appointment was very late in the afternoon. We went the next day and we went and found the shoes, and I wore them around the house for an hour, maybe a couple hours in the afternoon. And I hate wearing shoes. I hope I haven't told you this story in the last video. Like I said, I didn't watch the last video back to see. I don't remember. It was a week, several days ago. Anywho's, so I wore the shoes around, and I noticed that my back was twinging, and I didn't know what that was from, but it was just a little bit. So I wore them that day. I wore them a couple hours in the house the next day, and Sunday I went on a little adventure by myself up north. Drove about an hour, got off the interstate, did a little shopping in Joann's, found nothing I wanted. And that's a really big Joann's compared to the one we have. Get rid of that because it keeps stabbing me. Went to an organic market and found some new vegetable stock that I'm trying. I look for very clean ingredients, and yes, I could make my own. I made my own. I didn't like it. So anyway, make sure my finger isn't bleeding where I stabbed it. And I got back in the car and drove another, 30 minutes to a little event that was going on. I used to work at a vet clinic, and a bunch of us got together. We used to get together about once a year, and then you all know what happened where people couldn't get together anymore. So one of the vets is leaving. I never worked directly with her, but she is the veterinarian that took care of my 2 dogs and discovered that one had bladder stones, very bad bladder stones, needed surgery because he was a male. And the other one had a disease that prevented her from, I don't like that big stitch sticking out like that. This one here. It's way too obvious. She had a disease that didn't have a name, but she was not processing protein. So she didn't last but maybe another year or 2 after that. Unfortunately, my little Gabby girl, my little sweetie that I miss terribly. She was my little talker. She was appropriately named when we got her. Little Gabby, little white Maltese. So, yeah, I had seen her several times with our dogs, and she did surgery on Evan and helped us with treatment plans. And oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Pay attention to the back of your work. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, so she helped us with both our dogs. Anyway, so I wanted to go because it's a goodbye to her because she's moving out of the state. Long story short. Hurry up and finish the stupid story, Martha. So there were 3 veterinarians and 3 of us that had assisted the veterinarians. None of us were actual vet techs. Okay. But that's not what our veterinarian, the main owner, the owner of the veterinary hospital we worked for. Why is this not? Oh my gosh. What a mess. That's why. It can't go anywhere. You know, didn't have a problem sewing this on. It's the camera, I tell you. Or it's my jibber jabber. I don't know. Let me focus on this. See if I can get this to work right. Okay, I just need to pull this thread. Why is this not coming? It's like it's stuck on something on the other side. My goodness gravy, Martha. It's still not it. Still not it. Jeez Louise. Come on. Would I tie a knot up here or what? Yep. That's what I did. Somehow I got it all discombobulated up here. Oh my goodness. I can see it. I just gotta get the needle in there. Whew. Oh, don't breathe yet. It ain't over till it's over, right? Yay. I just didn't want all those big loops on the back of my piece because this is going to be pushed up against a canvas. I didn't really, at least that's the plan. I didn't want it to be, you know, I don't want it to be lumpy, bumpy, or a bunch of wild threads behind the fabric, especially since it's white. Okay, so 3 of us vet assistants and 3 of us were vets. And it was a nice little gathering, very nice, but I ended up sitting on a very hard chair while I was up there. Plus I was wearing the new sneakers. So, and I had done a bunch of walking around. Not a bunch, but walking around in those stores. So I don't know if it was a combination of all 3 of those things that I did, wearing the new sneakers, that really had thrown my posture into a tizzy, or if it was sitting in that hard chair for like 3 hours. I kept getting up and walking around because I knew I was going to have problems because I broke my tailbone a long, long time ago. Well, let me rephrase that. I didn't break it. My son broke it when he was born. And then I fell off a horse and injured it again. So, yeah. There's that. So I have to be very careful. Plus I have compressed discs in my lower back, which have been there for a long time. I was diagnosed with that many, many years ago, probably over 20 years ago. I also have them in my neck. So I've been a walking mess for a very long time, but I try and deal with it, because what's the alternative, right? I honestly sound like I'm whining and I have been complaining this whole last few months. I'm untwisting my thread, sorry. When it starts knotting, I just take the time to untwist it. It's just so much more worth it than fighting with the thread. So I've had issues, like lots and lots of health issues, especially joint, muscle, bone spurs, arthritis, that kind of thing, since I was in my 30s. So none of this is new to me. I'm 67. I knew it wasn't going to get any easier as I got older, but still. So I don't know what it was. Like I said, if it was a combination, I think the shoes threw my whole body into a tizzy by throwing my posture off. And holy cow, I got up Monday morning and I could barely walk. And we had some things to do Monday. I think it was Monday. What's today? Friday. I'm filming this on Friday. I will try and post it on Friday, the 11th of August. And anyway, it was Monday, or I think it was Monday. We had some stuff we had to do. We were going to return the shoes. We had to go grocery shopping. We went, I wanted to stop at Michael's because I was looking for some more beads for this project. And I think we went one more place. Well, that did me in. I could not move Monday afternoon. My back and my left side were so sore. I mean, excruciatingly sore. And I could barely move. So I laid down. That was the only position that hurt less. I can't say it didn't hurt, but it hurt less. And so, yeah, it's been a long week. I did a lot of resting. I called the foot doctor back on Tuesday or Wednesday. And I said, look, I wore these shoes. I cannot wear them. Now, he recommended the shoes, a sneaker with a rocker bottom. So the bottom, the toe goes up and the heel goes up, and you're basically walking in the middle of your foot, for me to keep the stress off of my stress fracture on the 4th metatarsal. And I said, they threw my entire posture out of whack. I'm in a lot of pain in my back and my knees and my hips. And I don't think I can wear them. And I don't know if I was speaking to a nurse, an assistant, or to whom I was speaking. It was not the doctor. And I was expecting them to say, well, come on back in, you can talk to the doctor, and we'll see what else we can do for you. Nope. When she called me back, she said that the doctor said basically if I can't wear those shoes, there's nothing else he can do for me. Because anything else he does for me will also throw my posture off. Like if he gave me a walking boot to put on my foot to take the pressure off, that would also throw my balance off. not my balance, my posture. And if the shoes didn't work, then he has nothing to do for me. And I thought, okay. What is this thread? Anyway, so I said, okay, fine. So I called back the next day and I said, I need to cancel my appointment on August 31st for a follow-up with the doctor. And she said, do you want to reschedule? I said, no, thanks. He told me there's nothing else he can do for me, so why bother? Why should I waste my money? All you're going to do is charge my insurance for me to come in and him tell me he can't help me. So, no thanks. She didn't say much on the other end. So, yeah. So there's really not much I can do. Taking care of a stress fracture, basically, you're supposed to stay off your foot or wear a boot or some sort of surgical shoe. I already stitched that. Why are there no stitches right there? I think that's all right. Yeah. So why should I waste my money on going back? And honestly, if I wanted to try a surgical boot or a surgical shoe to see if it throws my balance off and wrecks my back again, I don't really want to do that. But if I wanted to, I can go on Amazon and buy one. Because basically, can't you go on Amazon and buy just about anything? So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's hard to tell you whether the stress fracture hurts more or the arthritis in in the other two metatarsals hurts more. It's a toss-up. The last 2 days, the arthritis in the foot has been really bad. So I really can't win. Basically, I have a crapshoot going on in my foot as to whether it's going to be the stress fracture or the arthritis that hurts. And there's no way to really help either one. You can't fix arthritis, and the stress fracture, basically, I need to stay off it for 4 to 12 weeks. That's what I've read. And honestly, now that's really wonky when you look at it straight on, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with wonky. I know that sounds weird, but then you got to remember who's on the other end of this video. It's me. Hello, it's me. I'm the problem, it's me. I hate that song because I never want to admit I'm the problem. You know? Took me years. It has taken me years and years and years and years to build up my own self-confidence. So saying it's me every time, saying sorry all the time. I'm trying to get out of that habit, and I'm 67. All right. I'm thinking I need to add a little more to this one here, and then I'll add one up there. Where are we at on time? 28 minutes. Yammering away about absolutely nothing of interest to anybody. Now, I'm getting some ideas. I've been watching a lot of Corinne at To Be Loved Treasures by Corinne. Where are my... All right, let's see. I'm looking for my threads. I don't want to, I feel like the dark is really, I think that's what I used on that one. Do I have something? I want something just a little different in color. I don't know if this is showing up on camera. These are more burgundy-ish red. I don't want anything too dark. Maybe I'll try this. Okay. I think I used that size, what's this? Size 8 on this. I think that's what I used. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. That was like 5 days ago. So who knows? Who knows? I need a lot. Okay. There we go. And we will outline this one. Now, you may ask, What are you going to do with the rest of it, Martha? I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking of following the vines in the white fabric. These vines here with the little flowers on the end. I'm thinking of following some of those and maybe doing like fly stitch and then putting little colored, mostly reds at the ends. I don't know yet. I don't know if that'd be too much. Let's get the canvas and see how it's looking on the canvas. So it's going to look a lot like this, only with the edges tucked in better. Yeah, like that. I'm thinking of, I am going to put some leaves under these. My thing is, I don't know if I want to put like smaller rosebuds around each one, or like do a bud coming out here and out here. Okay. That's all, folks. Have green leaves coming out like here and here, right under this. And then maybe having like a bud out here and a bud out here, kind of like when a rose bush grows and that rose is here and then there's buds shooting out on the sides. I'm kind of thinking that. I need to practice my buds though. I saw Christine, Create and Craft with Christine. Look her up. She's doing a dictionary of stitches and she did one the other day that was like a bud. I wish I had some fine wool, like Crewel, Crewel wool, because from what I've seen people using, Christine showed some, and Corinne also showed some, and they've used these thinner wools in their works, and that would be perfect to make little buds with, but I can't find it anywhere around here. All right, so we're going to, now on this one, what I did was, on the last row, I came up. Watch me mess it up now that I'm doing it on camera. Yeah. Okay, we're going to come up here. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. We're going to come up here. Let me zoom in just a little. Bring you down a little bit. Okay. Bear with me. This looks like the same color. I might have used this thread for this flower. might have. Okay. I need to come in between, see? Because that's where I came up initially. This needle is not very long. I'm going to go 20. I should have used my other needle because this one's going to be tricky. So I think I'm going to switch needles after I get this one through. I don't wrap them really tight because otherwise you have to use pliers to get your needle out. To me, that's not worth it. I ruined too many needles that way when I started doing it. Oh, that might have been too many. Yeah, that was a bit too many, but that's okay. It's covering the area I want. Actually, that's just about right to reach around that far. Okay. Now, this is not how I would normally do it, but I'm going back down. Oops. Don't go around there. Okay. I'm going to change out my needle because I messed up. Used the wrong one. This one's a tad bit longer, a little thicker. Okay. So I hope you're all doing well and not dealing with health or medical stuff. I'm hoping that sitting in this chair for the last, I'll admit, I was sitting here stitching a little and watching Corinne. So I've been sitting here a little while. Oh, I went up the wrong way. Somebody should have yelled at me. I do this all the time on the bullion knots. I go in at the bottom and you're supposed to go, you know, up through the top, like the top of where you're working. It's just a brain thing that I can't seem to get my brain. It's like one of those things I have to stop and think about it when I'm doing it, or I start at the wrong place. Okay, start up here. Am I on camera? Yes. Tony had to settle his brain about something. Don't we all have to do that sometimes? Like you get something in your brain and you're like, I just don't think that's working right. I need to figure out what I need to do to fix it. Well, that's Tony. And he's been wrapped up about this part on the van for over a month now. It's a part inside 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm only going 18. That might still be a long ways. The windshield comes down on the van, and then there's an area that's supposed to catch the water and drain it off. Well, on the Ram ProMasters, which is what our van is based on, and I think in Europe it's considered a Ducato, is like similar brand, same makers, different name, something like that. It's when the water rushes off the van down the windshield, it catches in this cowl, C-O-W-L, I think it's called, or spelled. Okay. I'm going to put this one down because as well, you don't normally have to do this in between. But I'm trying to anchor these because I've made them a little bit big, which is okay because they sort of flare out a little then, but I'm making my bullions too long. This will be the last one. And yes, I came up through the right place. How do you like them apples? Now I'm going to go down in this one. Can you see how I'm going down in here, inside this first bullion I made on this video? And I'm coming up inside that one. So we'll see how that looks when I get done. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm only doing 16. We'll see, because this one's going to be a little tricky because it's going inside both of these. And he's been worried about how the water drains for over a month now. And he's tried taping it, he's tried doing this, doing that, doing the other thing, and he's worried about the engine getting wet. If Tony doesn't have something to worry about, Tony's not being the true Tony. Okay, I don't like that, but it's going to have to stay. All right, so I'm going to stitch that down because it's popping up way too much. Stitch it down there. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to pop a stitch in there too. And so his latest is this silly cowl. I have other words for it, but I'll be nice. I'm on YouTube, sharing with friends. And yes, I have a potty mouth when I get frustrated with things. So, hey, you know, it's just the way it is. I think Corinne is very much like that too, but she doesn't have time to watch my videos. But she says hang instead of H-E-double-L. A hang of a mess. And I just chuckle each time because I'm like, I know what you really want to say. Okay, one more. I don't want to make it too dark like that one. That's the darkest. And really, honestly, only the inside was supposed to be dark like this one here. And I don't even know if these are showing up well because of the lighting. So, yeah. So Tony's been hung up about that. And because we're supposed to travel, he has to have something to worry about. Drives me absolutely up a freaking wall. Because now, well, what he did was he took it to the Ford dealer and he talked to them because the Ram dealer wouldn't help him. I don't think. I think he went to the Ford dealer. I'm thinking that's where he went. Anyway. I'll go with this color. It's a little different. So now that that's over with, they told him that's the way it's supposed to work. You need to just leave it alone. That's the way it's supposed to work. He's like, well, what about the engine getting wet? Well, the engine gets wet if you're driving down a rainy road anyway. The water splashes up from underneath. It's okay. The engine is made to take it. And I knew all this. I mean, he's making a mountain out of a molehill, which is what he does when he has to have something to worry about because we're going to possibly travel. All depends on my back. Seriously, people. I get so tired of this stuff happening on camera. It never happens. I mean, not never, but rarely happens off camera. And yet, here we are. All right, you know what? I don't know if I can get this undone. I don't know if I have the patience to get this undone. And that noise outside is just making me nuts. Yeah, okay. No. Alrighty. So now he's going to find something new to worry about before we go away. It's going to start all over again. Okay, if you remember, I made these little lines on the back. I don't know how well they're showing up on camera. And these little pencil lines are where the corner of the canvas are. So I'm going to do something somewhere in between the fleur, and the corner. Okay. That one. Yeah, I think. I think I'll come down one. I'm trying to measure it up somewhat against this one here. Okay. Sort of kind of line them up. Yeah, so now I have to figure out what's going to happen next. I worry about how are we going to pack all the food that we like to take with us because our refrigerator is really tiny and it's a van, so there's not a lot of storage space. I worry about, you know, what's the weather going to be? I worry about the sensible things. Well, weather you can't do anything about. The food storage, I'm in charge of that. So yeah, I have to, pay attention. I also think I do these bouillon roses backwards from the way you're supposed to do them. But such is life. I can't wrap my head around going that way. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. 7, 8, 9. We're going to see how this goes. Don't do as I do. Go to someone who knows what they're doing and teach you the bouillon rose. There's Instagram, there's YouTube, there's books. Follow them, not me. This is just my little way of doing it. All right. Concentrating. Just concentrating. No worries. Yeah. So the ear doctor basically was going to give me stuff to put up my nose, but it was steroids, so I refused that. So, yeah, I just have to take care of myself and do what I can do. Plan for this trip we're supposed to be going on. As long as my back gets better and Tony's back doesn't start up again, we're a mess. Seriously, we are both a mess. And it sort of stinks sometimes because a lot of times one of us feels good and the other one is hurting. But if you're both, do this inside. So I feel like I missed the brief there and didn't follow the assignment with getting it close enough to the knot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the thing when you're doing wrap knots, you got to count if you want it to be consistent. Counting equals math for me, and you all know how I hate math. Okay. Gosh. Again, the other ones came out so well when I wasn't on camera. All right, I'm going to bring this down. I don't usually bring it down, but I've had to with these because I'm going to use a lighter color on the outside. Robin told me it's supposed to be in the hundreds, like 102 in the next few days out in Oregon. I'm sorry, Robin. That stinks. Is that the right one? Nope, that is not the right one. Okay, now, these are almost the same. Oh, they're almost the same. You see the numbers on these? They're the same. Okay, I'll take this one. This looks like it has, yep. And I know it's been hotter than the dickens in Texas, in the hundreds down there for something like 50 days in a row. I don't know. Insane. I'd have to leave. I'd have to pack my bags and leave. Not that it's been real cool much of anywhere else. I mean, if you can't go to the Northwest and cool off, I don't know where you're supposed to go. Usually the Northeast you can go and cool off too here on the East Coast, but I think they've been struggling as well. Okay. So, I'm going to come up there. I know there's a lot of flip-flopping around here. That's the nature of the beast, as far as I'm concerned. Now, am I going to go? Oh, my goodness. All right. What reminded me of that is my hands are sweating again. So anyway, Tony's still out. I didn't count. I have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to shoot for 12. Might be too much. Might not be enough. We shall see. Oops. So when he comes home, which should be very soon, because he finished at the dealership with the van, and he ran a couple of other errands, and then he was going to head home. I talked to him about, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes ago. So he probably is on his way at some point. 1, 2, 3. So I'm looking for thirds here. You're supposed to do it in thirds. Nope, that's too far out. Okay, a little bit of overlap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oops. It's almost lunchtime, so I'm sure he'll be here soon. I went out to lunch with my friend on Tuesday and sat on a hard chair there too. So Wednesday I was also hurting and Thursday. Yeah, I think the shoes and the hard chairs they did me in. Did my back in anyway. I didn't want to go down. Why did I go down? I don't know. I'll come back up. One, two. Yes, that's correct. Okay. Now, how big do I want this? Is this my last one? I'm going to try and make this my last one. We shall see. If not, there may be a couple more. Now this one, because it's my last one, I'm going in between this loop and this loop. And we're going to see how that goes. Come on. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's see. I feel like it needs one more right here, like it's lopsided. For sure. For sure. All right, so I'm actually going to come up. Do I want that to be an inside one? I think I'm going to do that as an inside to an outside. I'm going to do inside that one, outside this one. Ow, come on. Hope that's enough. Come on. See, if you just talk nice and you coax it and you hold on to everything, it's almost like you need 3 thumbs and forefingers to do this well. Yes. All right, pull a little tighter. I'm going to dive down here. Ugh, what is that mess? How do I get myself into these things? Can someone answer that, please? Okay, can we do this without cutting the important threads? Yes. Oh. Alrighty. The right tools for the right job. Yep. Okay. I'm happy with that.
It's just got a little bit of color to it, color change.
A little darker inside than out. All right. Well, we are at an hour, mostly because I had so many issues. Knots and more knots and strands of thread where they didn't belong. All right, well, I'm going to work on the leaves on this and decide what else. I feel like that's very stark, just having 4, like it's just weird. So I am going to work on this and then probably find something to do in between. I don't know whether there will be fly stitches or vines or what. I'll have to play with that and experiment and see how all that looks. But anyway, we're getting there and I'll be back. Thanks for joining me. Bye, everybody. Have a great one.